Your dog descends from an animal that once competed with humans for the same meat, crossed the same cold landscapes, and could have been dangerous enough to kill. So why did humans start living with dogs? Picture an Ice Age camp after a hunt. A fire burns low. People are cutting meat, watching the dark beyond the light. Somewhere out there is a wolf. For most of human history, that should mean danger, competition, or both. Wolves were not tiny animals waiting to become pets. They were skilled social hunters, much like us. And yet, before humans had farms, cities, or even most other domestic animals, some wolf ancestors were already becoming dogs. By at least the late Ice Age, they were close enough to people that they traveled with them, and in at least one famous burial, a dog was placed beside humans. The strange part is that nobody can point to one day when a human said, "Let's invent the dog." The real answer is slower, messier, and more interesting. It may have begun because a few wolves did something that most wolves would never do. They tolerated being near us. First, we need to get rid of the movie version. Humans probably did not simply capture a pack of adult wolves, train them, and suddenly gain loyal hunting companions. A full-grown wild wolf is not a blank canvas. It is powerful, wary, and built for a social life with other wolves. Humans and wolves also had reasons to avoid each other. Both hunted large animals, both protected food, both cared for young in groups. In a hard Ice Age landscape, another predator near your kill was not automatically a friend. It was a problem. But human camps changed the landscape. A camp was more than a fire and a few shelters. It left behind bones, scraps, discarded food, and wounded prey. That created a new opportunity for animals able to live near people without panicking or attacking. One leading explanation is sometimes called the commensal pathway. In plain language, less fearful wolves may have approached the edges of human camps to scavenge. They did not need to become friendly overnight. They only needed to be slightly better at tolerating humans than other wolves. That small difference could matter. A wolf that stayed at a safe distance from people might find calories other animals missed. A wolf that charged into camp would be driven off or killed. A wolf that fled from every smell of smoke would lose the opportunity entirely. Over many generations, the animals best able to live near people could have done better than the animals that could not. But here is the problem. A scavenger is not yet a dog. Living near human leftovers might explain why some wolf ancestors came closer. It does not fully explain a creature that reads human gestures, hunts beside people, warns a camp, sleeps by a fire, or becomes part of a family. This is where the story changes from wolves found food to two social species changed each other. Researchers debate several pathways. Perhaps people sometimes took very young wolf pups and reared them. Perhaps some early canids became useful around hunts. Perhaps camp following, pup rearing, and cooperation happened in different places and at different times. The evidence does not let us watch the first partnership begin, so the honest answer is not one neat origin story. It is also possible that the first relationship was not warm at all. It may have begun as an uneasy truce at the edge of the firelight. People tolerated animals that stayed back, while those animals learned which human signals meant danger and which did not. Only later would that distance shrink. That matters because domestication is not the same as taming one animal. A tame wolf can learn to accept people. Domestication changes a population across generations, as the animals best able to live in a human-made world leave more descendants. And humans were changing too. A group that had learned how to use a canid's hearing, smell, or warning bark had a reason to keep that relationship going. A pup born near camp would experience human voices, smoke, food, and movement as normal. That does not prove every early dog had one job. It shows how a practical relationship could become self-reinforcing. Calmer animals made proximity easier, and easier proximity gave people more reason to choose calmer animals. What the evidence does show is that the relationship became deep very early. Ancient DNA has transformed this question. A major study of ancient dog genomes found that dogs were already the first domestic animal and that, by around 11,000 years ago, at least 5 major dog ancestry lineages had diversified. That is long before agriculture remade human life. In 2026, another ancient DNA study found genetically similar dogs across Western Eurasia between roughly 15,800 and 14,200 years ago, from what is now Turkey to the United Kingdom. Think about what that means. These were not a few isolated, experimental camp animals. Dogs, or very early dogs, were already moving across enormous distances with late Ice Age people. That is our first real answer. Humans started living with dogs before farming because the relationship worked for hunter-gatherers. It did not need villages or sheep pens to begin. It grew in a world of mobile camps, hunting, travel, and harsh uncertainty. For the canids, humans could mean food, protection, and a powerful new ecological niche. For humans, early dogs could eventually mean sharper senses at the edge of camp, help locating or pursuing prey, an alarm against danger, and another social creature able to cooperate with a group. The exact balance probably changed from place to place. A dog valued for warning might not be valued for the same reason as one near a hunt. And there is a deeper twist. Domestication was not only humans changing wolves, it was also certain wolf ancestors adapting to a human world, and humans learning to tolerate, feed, protect, and choose animals that could share it. Selection does not need a scientist or a breeding plan. If people were more likely to keep, feed, or protect the calmer animals, and if those animals were more likely to survive and have pups, then a preference becomes a force. Across countless generations, animals less frightened by people and better able to fit into human social life would become more common. Eventually, this did not just change behavior. It changed a relationship. Modern dogs are not descended from today's wolves in the simple sense. Genetic studies indicate that dogs trace back to an ancient wolf population that is now extinct, or to closely related ancient wolf populations. The wolves we see today are relatives, not living snapshots of the exact animals that became dogs. And archaeology adds something genetics cannot: a glimpse of care. Around 14,000 years ago at Bonn Oberkassel in Germany, the remains of a dog were found in a burial with 2 humans. Later researchers argued that one young dog's illness may have required extended human care to survive. We cannot prove those people felt exactly what a modern owner feels for a pet. But the find makes one thing hard to deny. By then, this was more than a predator circling a rubbish pile. That is the retell line worth keeping. Dogs were living closely enough with hunter-gatherers to be buried with people thousands of years before farming began. So, why did humans start living with dogs? The best supported answer is mutual advantage built slowly. Human camps created an opportunity. Some wolf ancestors were able to use it without turning the relationship into a fight. Humans found reasons to tolerate and eventually rely on those animals. Then generations of proximity, choice, and cooperation turned a risky encounter into a partnership. We still do not know the exact camp, the exact place, or the exact moment when the first wolf crossed that invisible line. But maybe that is the wrong image anyway. There was probably no single first dog waiting at one fire. There were likely many small moments. A wolf that did not run, a person who did not throw a stone, scraps left at the edge of camp, a pup raised near human voices, an animal that barked before danger arrived. Repeated enough times, across enough generations, those small moments changed two species. So the next time a dog curls up near you, remember the strange thing it represents. Near an Ice Age fire, humans and wolves could have remained rivals. Instead, some of them learned to live together. And the world has never really been the same. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Nuro for more strange human history and hidden brain behavior. Tap the bell so you do not miss the next one, and share this video with someone who would enjoy it. Thanks for watching.